Thank you. You know, everybody knows that the summer of 2020 and the early fall is a time for meetings and really sitting down and talking about what the company stands for and what are we going to do the next 6 months and what if the second chapter of COVID-19 emerges, what about that? And so it's a time of great uncertainty, but also a time of possibility and opportunity. If your competitors are all hesitating and kind of hanging back, it may be an incredible opportunity for you to hatch a new product or a new service or a new message, or maybe form an alliance with some other company or series of companies to improve your supply side. Maybe it's all about revenue, right? And generating new ideas for additional sales dollars. Now, if somebody says, well, Lynn, you know, that's okay, but how would we do that? I like the idea in general of being innovative, but only about 33% of us think we can actually pull it off. 80% of us say, we got to be more innovative, we got to stand out and be unique. But only 33% of us actually think we can even pull it off over the next couple, 2 or 3 years. I'm going to tell you how to get it done. I'll do it quickly. It has to do with Colonel John Boyd. He came out of World War II. He was an incredible war pilot. He could shoot down anybody over there in the Eastern Theater there, and we're fighting Japan and so on. He'd be up in the air, and he'd watch these fighters, and they were, you know, going back and forth and up and down and zooming around. And Colonel John Boyd never lost them. All the others got lost and the patterns were too complicated. But he, for some reason, knew exactly what direction they were going. He could get right on the tail, boom, down, and there they were. See? He was an amazing guy. And so after the war was over, they put him in the Pentagon and had him teach young fighter pilots how to do this, right? How to do this. Now this leads us to a key principle of innovation in business, follow me now, it's called pattern recognition. Colonel John Boyd was an expert in pattern, right? He's up in the air, vroom, vroom, vroom. He could anticipate, he could follow what they're doing, he knew what direction they were going, he could anticipate the pattern. Now, so one day he has a responsibility for all these young fighter pilots. He's trying to teach them how to be more creative, be more like he was in the role I've just described to you. When they came into the Pentagon, which was the training area for him, he had this massive conference room, and he had all these bits and pieces of stuff laying all around the room. He had bicycle parts, right? He had skis, some skis from, and even chocolate from the skiing experience and so on. He had some little toy tanks, you know, military tanks little boys get when they're young and they get to play with. So he had toy tanks and the tractor things, the grippers, I can't remember what you call them right now. But anyway, he had all this. Oh, and he even had, as I mentioned before, a bicycle sitting around. It was kind of half discombobulated, kind of torn up a little bit. It had all this junk everywhere. And he said, we're not leaving here until you guys work together and figure out what we're going to do. You got to find the pattern. Got to find the pattern. Got to connect the dots. Got to do it fast, and got to work together. Do you know at the end of that day, the snowmobile, the snowmobile was born that day in the Pentagon with that group of young men that were students of Colonel John Boyd. They put of course, we had the handlebars, we had the tractor things, the things that moved the military tanks forward. We had a speedboat hull that had been there. I didn't mention that, but there was a speedboat hull there, of course, with a motor in the end. So they figured out a way to configure all of them, jigger them together, and create this very rough prototype of a snowmobile. Right? A snowmobile. That's where it came from. So I'm telling you this because if we get in a room together, and I conduct these meetings, I facilitate them, you got to find somebody who's not afraid to step up and pull everybody together into a strategy session of vision, innovation. And then somebody said, well, what are we going to do, right? What we're looking to do is fusion. We're looking to take things apart, right? Maybe it's your product line, your brand, whatever it is, your culture. Split them all up, chop, chop, chop. Put them back together in a variety of unusual ways. Figure out how to make your snowmobile, your snowmobile with new features, new benefits, new products, and sell it to a new segment of the marketplace. That's called blue ocean strategy. I'm sure you've heard of that. So that's what we're talking about right here. Innovate, utilizing fusion pull things together in different ways, create new revenue, new opportunities for your company, get way ahead. The back end of 2020, you're going to be way out in front come 2021. Call me. I can help you get this done. I'm Lynn Hinderrocker. Thank you so much. Growth Dynamics. We'll see you next time. Thank you.